Good morning, everyone. Well, the big story across Iowa for the next 2 days is going to be the heat. So let's start with that. Check out the high temperatures in the western part of the state. 105 in Sioux City, 104 in Omaha. These are record-breaking temperatures. Now, as you go to the east, notice temperatures aren't as high. It's a little bit cooler. We're talking about a transition from the upper 90s to the mid 90s to the low 90s. 91 in Waterloo, 93 in Davenport. Also a transition in the wind. So just kind of breezy in the far western part of the state. And really, I think for the central part of the state too. But by the time you get to the far eastern part of the state, including the Quad Cities, I do think we can call it windy this afternoon. Those gusts getting to that 30, 35 mile per hour range versus the gusts 20, 25 in the western and central part of the state. And you might be saying, okay, well, it's not too bad. 93 in Davenport, 93 in Burlington, we can handle low 90s, right? Well, the problem is also from west to east, there's going to be an increase in humidity. In fact, it's looking very humid in the far eastern part of the state. So let's take a look at feels like temperatures this afternoon. Notice that it may actually feel hotter in the Quad Cities than Sioux City. So in Sioux City, actually some drier air may sneak in, making the feels like temperatures very similar to our actual air temperatures, but that is not going to be the case in the central and eastern part of the state where that humidity is going to be in place and it's going to make it feel worse. I mean, look at that, 106 in Davenport, 103 in Iowa City. Mason City, almost triple digits. Looks like we might just miss it, but still feeling like 98 this afternoon. All right, so let's talk about tomorrow. Now, there's going to be improvement in the far western part of the state where a cold front's going to be pushing in. So notice that the high temperature tomorrow in Sioux City, back to the low 90s, but the temperatures going up just about everywhere else. 98 in Mason City, 98 in Waterloo, 98 in Davenport. Pretty uniform temperatures. I also think the winds are going to increase a little bit for tomorrow. We're going to call it windy for the central and eastern part of the state, basically everywhere where you're seeing those temperatures in the upper 90s. And then for the far western part of the state where it's going to be a little bit cooler, we'll just call it breezy. Those gusts 20, 25 miles per hour. But once again, we got to talk about what it's actually going to feel like because the humidity is still absolutely going to be in place for tomorrow. So notice that particularly in the far eastern part of the state, that's where we're seeing the biggest difference in the actual temperatures and the feels like temperatures, feeling like 104 in the Quad Cities, 102 in Iowa City, 103 in Des Moines, 99 in Mason City, 103 in Waterloo, but Sioux City, 92. So big takeaway, especially for the central and eastern part of the state, but even today, I've got to mention for the far western part of the state, do try and take it easy. Try not to spend too much time outside during the afternoon hours when it's just going to be so brutally hot. If you do have to be out, be sure to stay hydrated and take frequent breaks. At least get in some shade, or better yet, get inside and cool down for a little bit. Try not to stay outside for an extended amount of time during the afternoon hours. We also have to talk about rain chances and small chances for severe storms as well. And actually for today, it's early in the day. So it can't rule out there's going to be an area of showers and storms in the central part of the state around 8 a.m. And there's still the potential that these storms could still overachieve. There's still enough ingredients where we could still have one or two severe storms. Notice that the best chance for places like the Quad City is probably about 11 a.m. this morning. That's going to be the best chance of rain today and the best chance for the possibility of some severe storms. And this is what's really going to ramp up the humidity levels this afternoon. So I think we're largely going to be drying out in the afternoon. I can't rule out maybe some stray showers. Notice this is 2 o'clock, 5 o'clock, but there's not going to be much going on. The chance of getting one of these stray showers in the afternoon once we get past lunchtime is pretty small, and the humidity is going to be so high that's what's going to lead to those very hot temperatures. But we do have to mention the smallest of chances for those severe storms through very early this afternoon. So we jump ahead to tomorrow morning. Notice all this activity in the late afternoon, early evening hours fizzles out, and it's completely dry across the state. And I think it's going to stay dry for much of the day. But what we're seeing, and there's some uncertainty in the models here, is in the late afternoon, evening, all the models are saying that some showers and storms are going to develop. But the question is how many are going to develop and how strong are they going to be? If you look at this model, it says a rain chance starts at 4 o'clock and picks up a little bit at 7 o'clock, but notice that the activity doesn't look that impressive. That said, I do have to mention that other models are making more showers and storms during the late afternoon, early evening hours and making them more intense. So unfortunately, we can't rule out the possibility that some of this activity that pops up late afternoon, early evening hours tomorrow could be severe, especially if those stronger models are right. But I do want to mention that some of the models say it's not going to be that impressive. So that's why there's some uncertainty for tomorrow that we're certainly going to keep you posted on. For today, the severe threat is for the northeastern part of the state. Mason City, Waterloo, Davenport, all under that marginal risk, level 1 out of 5. And basically what we're highlighting here is most likely when this activity works over you, mainly during the late morning hours, it's most likely just going to be some heavy rain and lightning. Worst case, we could see wind gets up to 50 miles per hour and maybe some penny-sized hail. But I think the more likely place for severe weather is going to be this afternoon over in Wisconsin and over towards the Chicago area. That's where the greater severe threat is. But I have to mention the smallest of chances for Bay City, Waterloo, Davenport late this morning. And then for tomorrow, notice that Mason City, Waterloo, Des Moines, on over to the Omaha area, and Sioux City right on the edge. We're under that marginal risk. Again, level 1 out of 5, but there's some uncertainty here. Again, once we get better agreement on the models, maybe we could take away this severe threat altogether, or maybe it would have to be bumped up a little bit once the models get into better agreement for late afternoon and early evening hours tomorrow. So look for an update tomorrow morning.